Fucking getting all the mozzies. Hi, little plant. Okay. Fucking hell. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. There was 3 mozzies on my tootsies. I probably disturbed them, so that makes sense. Holy moly. Guacamole. No. Well, maybe it's recording this time. The topic for today is a bit all over the place. I think I wanted to... mozzies. Fucking hell. Give me a second. Give me a sickie. Give me a sickie. Maybe I should not stand next to the water so much and in the muds. But it's a nice spot. And I don't want to give it up. So I'll just be slapping mozzies off me and go home with shit tons of bites and shit. Fucking hell. Do I want to do this? Not really. Hang on, let me find another spot. Fuck. 2 seconds flat? No. It fucking took a little bit longer than 2 seconds. But we are situated. And there are less mozzies. Jesus Christ. Great idea, filming in a swamp. Love Krikerero. But it was pretty down there. It was pretty mean down there. Give me a second. I don't really want this on my floppy shirt. Let's see if we can find a wand for today. Nope. Oh yeah, that's pretty fancy. I like that. Less crunchy. A little handgun. Little stick gun. Pew pew. Like I was saying, oh my god, I think they got through my shirt. Oh, that's okay. Less mozzies. There will probably still be some mozzies, but at least it's not the 15 that landed on me in literally 5 seconds flat. So that's good. Okay, the kerfuffle. The kerfuffle and the place. Welcome to the place. It's literally just above where we were at. We were down there. All the way down there in the swampy swamp. And now we're on the other side of the path. Up here in the hills. With lots of... not bramble. Bramble is blackberry. But with lots of... spikies. Gorse! That is the word that they call it. Gorse. The topic for today is, I guess, about fear and clarity, and how fear can either indubitably destroy clarity and destroy following your purpose and destroy kind of any sense of, like I said, clarity upon your destination, your purpose in life. But it can also be the key. Can it be the key to clarity, and it can be the key to going about this way in your own way, going through this life and fucking some shit up in the best possible way. For me, I've always tried to welcome fear as one of the many... Oh, hello, caterpillar. Look, it is a tiny little caterpillar. Just like the pumice. The pumice. Oops, sorry, caterpillar. Enjoy life over there. Don't climb on my leg very much, thank you. Yeah. So, like, when you're living in fear, you are inevitably putting yourself in the shoes of judgment. Now, judgment is one side of the coin to discernment, and discernment is key for clarity. So this is why fear can help us form our own clarity. But we have to realize that our judgments can be discernment. I say can, because we have to realize and uncondition ourselves from that fear state. But it's not to say push away fear. It is to say welcome fear and say, fear, you need to speak clearly to me. Like, what the fuck is up? Why are you, so afraid of this person on the street? What is going on? And then fear, probably at the beginning of this, fear did not speak clearly to me, and it was very hard to welcome fear in and sit them down and ask for clarity, and it was very hard to get clear on my judgments. But after practice, they cleaned themselves up, because I said, hey, if you're clear with me, then I will know what you're looking for, what you need, and I can then go about doing the things that you need of me, and then therefore you will be pleased and happy and leave freely. But I won't push you out until you can speak clearly to me. So I did sit in fear and stagnancy, and self-judgment was my main biggest issue. Oh my god, I'm going to be so itchy tonight. Like, so itchy. Like the hand one. Oh my god. Excuse me. No. So fear was pushing a lot of judgments on myself and on others. Honestly, I was putting them in difficult positions in my life. I can't really remember clearly, because the past isn't really something that I hold on to anymore, because I've garnered the lessons. I've, tilled the soil, and I've composted it, in my own spare time. So it's very hard for me to kind of look back and, at this point, making this video, right, to pinpoint any specific kind of grievances or of self, because often I say often, but every time, we're often the ones who are in the wrong. I mean, it does take two to tango. It's often both parties being in the wrong, but you got to take accountability for, your side of the dance and the play in relation to another. Yes, I've come to terms with realizing that fear stops me from showing up authentically in public and just in general in my own life. And that it often is a state that kind of brings in judgments of another person, judgments of myself, judgment. And way back, I think about, how old would I have been? Over 5 years ago, had a wonderful therapist. Shout out to them. Doubt they'll ever see this, but shout out to them. They were amazing. Who did like very deep internal family systems, IFS therapy with me. And we came to the realization that judgment is just discernment on the other side. But judgment doesn't speak clearly, and fear does not speak clearly, especially if you haven't done the shadow work to kind of have that relationship with fear and have that relationship with your own judgment. And often the discernment isn't, that person is scary. The discernment is, I feel unsafe. Okay, if I feel unsafe, then I'm going to move away, and then process why I feel unsafe. And it could just be, I picked up on micro expressions from them where, they correlate to people judging me. And I feel unsafe in that. How can I deepen my safety even if other people are judging me? Because it's not their responsibility to not judge me. Everybody judges. It shouldn't inherently make me feel unsafe. And then doing the shadow work to deepen that self-trust, that self-worth, that self-security, so that if I'm in a room of judgmental strangers, I can still show up authentically. I'm not there yet, mind you. I definitely slouch my shoulders to protect my heart still sometimes, and but I sing in public, and I do all these things that I did as a kid. I dance, I frolic through this world, because I fucking want to, not to, I mean, people passing me would probably think, oh, they're a show off, or what is the colloquial term, but is actually wrong, because colloquially it's known as being a Jezebel. But in the biblical sense, a Jezebel spirit manipulates people to do bad things. And I don't think frolicking is inherently a bad thing. I think frolicking is fantastic. But maybe for someone, frolicking is the devil's at work. So I guess I take it as a compliment, because colloquially it just means to be a show off, I think, relevant. It's a very old term. I don't think it's used. I think it's mostly boomers I've heard it from. No offense to boomers or Gen X. Gen X is cool though. Sorry, I'm getting way off topic. Like I do. Yes, so people judging me to be a Jezebel. Right. Yes, that was the whole point of that side quest. I honestly take it as a compliment. And I know that I have to deepen that understanding that their reactions and their responses to me is inherently their own responsibility and is inherently their own programming. And I think what I want to deepen is compassion for the others. But first, I think I'm jumping 10 steps ahead, not 10, but maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead, is that if I have a deeper sense of self-worth and self-trust and self-stability and self-love, then whatever they throw my way, the proverbial they, you, or whoever else is watching this video, I'm not saying that you're judging me or by any means, but I mean, we all do. Even if it's a positive judgment, it's still a judgment. That is also our discernment speaking to us. It's like, oh, I really like that human. They're cool. And it's like that discernment is like bringing you clarity for your inspiration. And the judgment of jealousy, I always love to say that jealousy is just inspiration, but green. Just a Hulk version of inspiration. Yeah, and there's a whole lot of quinky dinks with different judgments that we perceive from the outside source, but we can get to a point where we weigh ourselves down either by our own judgments upon ourselves or the judgments of others, where we actually get fucking stuck and in fear, and it's a hard mass of stuff to get out of. But then if you walk through life like that, you're just gonna go around fucking people over because you're not actually working within your clarity. Right? You're working from a discordant version of yourself. And mind you, I have empathy for you guys and for me and for anyone out here on this planet. It is hard. I get it. There's a lot of work to do, the self-work. But, you can't really grow a fruitful patch of vegetables or fruits or just your dreams, your inspirations from soil that is toxic. Even if that toxicity is your own programming, like fuck, I had to do so much shit to get somewhat clear and somewhat clarity on things within here and within here and within here, the whole shebang and 9 yards, and within, here, not so much. Don't really have much clarity when it comes to, because there's a lot of dissonance and discordant views, and they're all different. Mind you, every single human being that exists on this planet exists within their own reality, and that reality, even if it exists within one family, nuclear, will be different, even if similar, even if they're twins, you know. And we do find similarities within each other, but it's just not, you know, I don't exist in your reality. I exist as an after image of things that inspire you or things that rattle your jar. And that's cool, but I only exist within my reality, and right now I am staring at trees, and probably before this video is posted, I will be sitting in bed editing this video. So, you know, my reality is my responsibility, and your reality is your responsibility, and so on and so forth to every single human being that has ever existed and will ever exist and does exist now. And at a certain level, yes, we do share, you know, a shared consciousness. We are all one. And I've come to realize, well, I have absolutely zero control over another person's reality. And the only way that I can affect the shared field that we all exist on as one conscious being at a certain level of consciousness, right? That isn't the human level of consciousness that we usually operate our day-to-day lives through, is to take care of my individuated reality as best I can. And that is welcoming fear, welcoming judgment, telling them, you got to speak clearly to me so I can understand what you fucking need. What do you fucking need? So that I can show up for you and for me and for this whole shebang, shadoodle, and really transform and transmute that judgment into discernment. And that discernment is often pointed towards me. If I'm feeling judgment out towards someone else outside myself, I know that I'm actually need to take that patu and face it inwards. Patu being a weapon. Like, instead of the dagger pointing to you, I shall point it inwards towards myself and find where I am feeling uncomfortable or unsettled or etc., whatever the fuck. I might just be feeling hungry and need a shit, right? Sorry to be crass. But that's the beauty. We get to be responsible for our reality, even though it's hard, and even though external circumstances might deem us in unsafe circumstances. By all means, I understand. I have been in somewhat precarious situations, but I definitely have not experienced some of the things that are happening to people nowadays, and it is scary, and I understand. And this might be way too woo-woo, and this might be way too far beyond, like, survival, right? This isn't a mindset really suited for being honestly on the front lines, or being in a state of absolute shutdown, freeze. You know, like there isn't really room to cognitively think. So, mind you, I understand that, and that is okay. Set this aside for another day. You know, a day where maybe you're still in survival, but it is somewhat reasonably safe, you know, to start this process. I know that I wasn't safe for the longest time, and I could not start this process until much later. Until my survival was somewhat reasonably, not even reasonably, it was still precarious, you know what I mean. Precarious, I'm gonna get stuck on that word. It was still peculiar. I know that's not the word, but it was still peculiar. And yeah, and it wasn't until I had the tools and worked through it to over years and years and years of stagnancy and not safety, and like kind of safe for a minute, kind of doing the work, not doing the work, avoiding the work, la da da, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, on off, on off, on off, on off, on off, on off. And it's like, you can't grow your garden with a snap of the fingers. It takes time, and it grows in its own time. And I'm still fucking growing my garden at 28. I definitely know that I have to work on my compassion next, because that, empathy burnout to the nines. After being a people pleaser for so many years, I definitely struggle now to have feelings of care and consideration for others, mainly because I'm on one side of the pendulum, and I needed to be there to develop a sense of self-worth and self-love and self-security. Hopefully the pendulum settles with more compassion. I know it will swing that way in God's time, eventually. Like I say, I don't mean the white man in the sky with a beard. I think I just have to say it every time just to make sure. It's just the easiest word to get the thing across, but it's so fucked. Religious trauma is definitely, I've done a lot of work on that though, so yeah. Anyway, I hope this isn't over 10 minutes, and I hope I don't have to edit the shit out of this. I might make this into 2 parts if it is over 10 minutes, just because I think I had a very good stream of consciousness where there wasn't a lot of pauses or talking about random shit. I mean, there was that one side quest, but yeah. Sweet beans, guaranteed, and thank you for listening. This is more just processing and stuff. Again, if you're full in survival on the front lines, save this for later. Put it in the back of your mind. It's just a seed of wisdom. It's just some, some juicy juices for later, some fertilizer, so that you can go forth and when you are in a reasonably but still in survival mode, reasonably safe but still in survival mode point in your life, you can start to till the soil. It is not always safe to till the soil in whatever circumstances you are at. And I am so sorry that you are in those current circumstances. If you can find a little safe spot for you and just enjoy the little things, the birds, the bees, the bugs, the worms, the trees, the leaves, even moss on a street crack, or graffiti. I fucking love graffiti. Tags. Or the ingenuity of color. Or your little safe spot here on this little obsidian screen, this little black mirror that you have in front of you. I think it is okay to be stagnant. Far out. I have been stagnant most of my life, and there are seasons of change. Hi, Piwaka Waka. Hi. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah. Thank you for listening to my rant, and sweet beans guaranteed. It's okay to be however you are.